detention centre. I didn't know that people have already been there for over 400, 500 days. There was sickness, disease, infections. It feels militarised.
If you come to Australia illegally by boat, there is no way you will ever make Australia home.
You go from looking after people to saying, if you come here, we're going to make it worse for you than if you'd stayed where you came from.
Staff would have to be trained how to use the Hoffman's knife. The knife used to cut people down when they're found hanging.
I have to forget my dreams here.
Children have to be in detention according to the government's policies because it's part of the deterrence.
They're growing up on white phosphate rock in mouldy, damp tents where they have no privacy and no space. You'll have clients say to you, please come back, please don't forget about us, please don't leave us here.
اللي كنت اسمع عن استراليا انه بلد امينه وبلد انسانيه انه بتحب الانسان كثير وبتحب اللاجئين كثير.
What type of person would feel compelled to make a film that would shame Australia all over the world?
I'm Australian. I've lived in America since 2004. But this film took me back to Australia. I didn't particularly want to go back, but I felt so strongly about this. I was watching it for 15 years from America, and my history, I'm originally Australian, I'm first generation. My parents were born in Poland in 1937, Jewish. Three of my four grandparents perished in the Holocaust. And this has really informed my work. I grew up in the shadow of genocide, and I grew up knowing that bad things happen to good people, and I couldn't sit by and watch my country that I was so lucky to grow up in a free democracy and receive an amazing education in life, treat innocent people who need our help in such an appalling way.
So you know firsthand what happens when the world shuts its doors on people who need help.
Yeah, I feel really strongly about the Refugee Convention, of which Australia was an early signatory, and being part of that convention means people can come to your country fleeing persecution and you cannot turn them away. And we have been blatantly disregarding the Refugee Convention for a long time.
How proud am I that it is a Jewish documentary filmmaker who has told this story. After all, this year we will be selecting a new government for Australia. Do we want to see more of this?
One of the worst accommodation, a World War II hut made of tin on a concrete floor. 122 double bunks in this shed. Manus Island is tropical, and these guys were housed in a tin shed. It was disgusting. The odour was disgusting. I just couldn't believe what I was looking at. It was amazing.
Manus looked like a jail to me. The men were padlocked in behind gates. There was feces, open feces on the ground. Men didn't have enough clothes. Men didn't have shoes. They didn't have enough drinking water. There was malaria. There was sickness, disease, infection.
I'm not sure a documentary can change the course of history, but perhaps this particular one will pluck a few heartstrings, whether it be politicians or voters. And I wonder what the documentary filmmaker herself is hoping for.
I would like every Australian to see the film, and every Australian politician, because it gives them the opportunity for the first time to see what we are doing. It explains everything clearly. It's not hysterical, it's bipartisan, it's emotional in terms of what you see is emotional, but I'm trying not to be overly hysterical about it. I just want you to see the film and to go home and think, is this okay?
But in stark contrast to the asylum seeker problem, we were celebrating here in Melbourne and over in New South Wales only a week ago the independence of a Jewish state. And it was some of the speeches and words made at that celebration that ring pretty hollow when thinking about asylum seekers in general.
Certainly today is such an historic day for the Jewish community. 1948, when Israel's first Prime Minister declared the nation's independence. And I'm so proud to be here celebrating this day with you. I count it as an absolute privilege to be the first Premier of this state to visit Israel. And I think that what we have an opportunity on the back of that visit is to bring us together. And as we come together, there's opportunities to appreciate both our culture and our history. I think the boundaries are limitless.
Israel stands as a beacon of democracy and constructive achievement. Israel responds by continuing to ensure its strength as a nation.
Today, we celebrate Israel, a vibrant democratic nation, built in the face of adversity by the strength of the Jewish people and the courage of our people who built a great nation in a region that has known little but conflict and strife.
And it's conflict and strife which asylum seekers and refugees are running from today. The Jewish community, above all communities, knows the desperation that these people must be suffering. And we must do all we can to ensure that our government does as much as they must do to help them.